Hey, everybody. This is LC. I am the founder of Hope and Recovery Network and the host of the Recovery Soul Food Podcast. If you're seeing this part, you are absolutely watching the replay, and I want you to know that I appreciate you. Truly do appreciate you taking the time to hear the episode 2 premiere with my interview with the Sober Experiments, Alex and Lisa. This is a whole different take on sobriety and addiction, alcoholism. You know, it it was an amazing, fun interview. And so I really hope that you enjoy this. Remember, you can find the podcast on all major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, and especially anchor.fm. So I appreciate this. And if you like the episode, please consider subscribing and as well share this out to your friends and family, whoever you think might use the advice. Not every, not all addictions present themselves in the same way. Sometimes people in different demographics find themselves suffering an addiction in a whole different way and maybe don't have the courage to step out because they're considered normal drinkers or it's a weekend thing. And so just because we're not completely down and out in addiction does not mean that we are not suffering with an issue. And so I hope through listening to this podcast with Alex and Lisa and just soul searching yourself, that we are moving into a time where we start doing what's best for us and not so much worrying. If I represent anything, it's worry not about what the world thinks of you. Just do what's best for you and feel aligned and true to you. That's what I love about Alex and Lisa and the way they interact with each other. They are a best friend duo that went through addiction together and are now sober and spreading their love, light, and hope throughout the world together. And so it's lighthearted, it's fun, it's funny. Their dynamic is beautiful. I'm loving to have made lifelong friends with these ladies and really cannot wait to kick off and let you hear this. I've been like a kid at Christmas waiting to premiere this episode. It's been hell trying to wait, but we're finally here, and here it is. So we're going to let the room build up a little bit, let people know we're online. If you don't mind, get this shared out for me, and we will allow our room to build up, and we'll begin episode 2 of the Recovery Soul Food Podcast. So in the meantime, I'm going to get to work over here. I am not 100%, y'all, I'm telling you. But again, I've been so excited for this. I just could not wait. Work over here. I always forget to turn down the volume. All right. Did I not push it fast enough? Sorry for the silence. I can't really see, cannot really see your comments. So if you're here, please put up a comment so that I can attempt to see it. Oh my goodness. I go through this every morning. You'd think that I would have this down by now, but no, I don't. Tammy P. I love Tammy P. Okay, here we go. Now I got it. Okay. I think that we're on. Lana Rossman, hello, Lana. My warrior of the week is going to be Lana Rossman. And still, I did not reach out to her today. Sorry, Lana. I have just been not so well. But I'm hoping that she will agree to be my warrior of the week this Friday so that we can look at someone who has actually had the COVID virus and survived, because we all get so steeped in the fear, and understandable, it's a fearful thing. But this warrior has had the virus and beat its butt into submission. And so I look forward to talking with her, letting her share her, strength and hope and love with all of you. And just to let you know that, this thing is not necessarily a death sentence, and that we can choose not to give in to the fear. I experienced it. I know the fear is real. When I started running a fever and not feeling good, and still not necessarily feeling good, I'm going to tell you, I had to deal with, I mean, the fear is real. It really sets in on you. It comes in your mind, and it will be up to you to, move it out, remembering that you are in control of what comes into your senses, and that you must vigilantly stand guard at the gates of all of your senses, because, this is your life. Give it away not to fear, because, fear should be in life the springboard to your success. Plain and simple. Like, we're all going to feel fear. There's absolutely no way we're not ever going to feel fear and not be afraid. But let fear be that thing that motivates you to say, yep, I'm afraid and I'm going anyway. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I really, really, really love about tonight's interview, and I'm really serious, it has been so hard for me to sit on this envelope, this episode all week, because I've just been so excited about it, because I love these ladies so, so much. These ladies were so lighthearted, so funny, and just the demographic that they speak to. We get caught up in the recovery community, and I think this is as far as I'm going to go here. We get caught up sometimes in the recovery community at most of us that have been all the way down the rabbit hole into addiction, like those far places where we've been homeless, and we have gone through hurting a lot of people. And I found it refreshing about Alex and Lisa that they speak to the demographic that is different, that, is the quote unquote normal drinker. Like they say in their interview, they just thought they were normal drinkers, and it was how they grew up. And a lot of us grew up in families where drinking on the weekends were norms. And in fact, that's how my addiction completely started, was drinking with my father. And, because I thought that it was the way to connect with him, and I desperately wanted to connect with him. So that was how my addiction started. But as they were noticing that there was an issue, that, wait a minute, I'm drinking every weekend, and they were afraid to really reach out for help, because they didn't identify with needing to go to AA or calling themselves alcoholics, because even though they would spend Friday to Sunday, drunk and doing all the things that we do when we get out of control, there wasn't a lot available to them that said, hey, come over here. This is life in sobriety. And so listening about their journey and just listening to their dynamic together was so fun for me. And it's just so lighthearted. And Recovery Soul Food, the podcast, is about bringing different perspectives into our experience, and realizing that everything doesn't have to be for everyone, but everything holds something in it for everyone. There are nuggets of inspiration and motivation and information that we can pick up from so many different aspects of recovery. And a lot of it doesn't even have to be necessarily recovery language, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that makes up addiction. It's not just substance. It's not just habit. A lot of us get here from different avenues, but we're all fighting for that one thing, and that's being recovered. And yes, I believe that we do recover, and we can recover all the way. So with as I finish up my invites here, even though I told you I wasn't going to do any more, Every time I look down at my list, I see some other amazing person that I love and want to be here. And I think, oh, they should be, oh, they would like this. Oh, they would like this. And so I go again. But I am really fixing to quit because I really want us to get into this episode. And this is episode 2 of the Recovery Soul Food Podcast. And remember, let's give a shout out to shoprecoverystuff.com for being a major source of inspiration and partnership and collaboration with the Recovery Soul Food Podcast. Marty McLeod, I love you all. I love Shop Recovery Stuff. You know, Shop Recovery Stuff gives us a unique way to wear our recovery out loud, to flaunt our recovery because we are proud of it. No longer do we stay in the shadows and shame and keep our head down. We stand up and we are proud of who we are, our story, our path, and doggone it, just because it doesn't look like someone else's does not mean that we should be ashamed. And I love Shop Recovery Stuff for all that they do in our recovery community and giving so many of us a voice. And I love them. So get over to shoprecoverystuff.com. Well, you'll hear it in the podcast. It'll also be in the podcast notes. Know that the podcast is available on all major platforms, Spotify, Apple iTunes, and anchor.fm. And if you have an idea for a podcast, then get your little buns over to anchor.fm because it is the easiest and most efficient way to get your voice heard. And even if you just want to try it, you don't even know if you'll like it. It's free. Go try it. You'll never know if you don't try. What you scared of? Don't be scared. Do it anyway. All right. I love you guys. And I'll leave you alone for a minute. And then I'm going to get over here and get this played. So give me 1 second. This is Alex and Lisa of the Sober Experiment. Recovery is real. Hey Warriors, it's LC. This is the theme of Shop Recovery Stuff's spring line of apparel and merchandise. ShopRecoveryStuff.com has the most stylish, thought-provoking, and inspirational recovery merchandise so that you can live your recovery out loud and shine a beacon of hope for all those still sick and suffering. Hope is real because recovery is real. Get on over to shoprecoverystuff.com and tell them LC sent you. What's up, Soul Warriors, and welcome to episode 2 of the Recovery Soul Food Podcast. I am your ever grateful host, Lona L.C. Curry, and in this episode, you are going to meet 2 of the most outrageously awesome human beings I have ever had the honor and privilege to meet. Best friends, Alex and Lisa of the Sober Experiment. Now, I'm going to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed this interview so much and feel so blessed to have made what I know is going to be a lifelong friendship with these ladies. Alex and Lisa address alcoholism from the perspective of the weekend drinker and the quote-unquote normal drinker. Alex and Lisa, the Sober Experiment, are bringing a unique positivity to sobriety and shining a light on a demographic of addiction that isn't quite the norm. Outrageously awesome, funny, lighthearted, these best friends have similar family backgrounds and ideas regarding alcohol and addiction. They were in addiction together and now sober together. The Sober Experiment, it brings positivity and fun to recovery that annihilates the stereotypical negative picture of sobriety. With their 30-day sober challenge and so much more that they do, You are going to get such a unique perspective and just honestly enjoy meeting these two. I truly love them. So, whether you identify as an alcoholic, addict, or a quote unquote normal drinker, this is an episode that you will thoroughly enjoy. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to laugh with Alex and Lisa of the Sober Experiment. Hey, Recovery Soul Warriors, this is LC, and I am here with two of the most awesome ladies I've had the honor to meet, and they are from the Sober Experiment. Alex and Lisa, welcome to Recovery Soul Food. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey!
Thank you for having us.
We always say that at the same time.
That's the coolest thing about being best friends, right? And doing this all together, which I thought was amazing about your story. I mean, how many friends actually go through addiction together and get sober and have each other to have as accountability partners? Because I feel sure after meeting you ladies that that you guys definitely keep each other on the mend, right?
Go on, Lisa, you go.
Normally we can see each other because we butt in on each other a lot. I'll just warn you about that. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Being able to do a Go Sober with your very best friend is just awesome. And we really do keep each other going, don't we, Alex?
Yeah, we daren't slip because the other one would completely kick our asses.
That's so good.
So it's like it's obviously it's really positive, but there's also massive accountability. Everything that our values beyond our friendship and behind our friendship is all about being sober now. So of course you're not only letting yourself down if you relapse, you're letting each other down, and that holds us accountable and keeps
absolutely
sober.
Yeah. That accountability thing, was such a big thing for me getting into recovery. Is I needed that accountability, and I think that would just be amazing to have someone to know you as long as you all have known each other, because you both grew up in kind of a similar background, correct?
Yeah, this is Alex speaking now, but our parents, our fathers were friends. We don't actually know when they met, but they were friends probably before we were even born, and socialized together, and they were kind of drinking buddies as well. And on a sideline, both my father and Lisa's stepfather ended up dying of alcohol-related diseases. But yeah, we were introduced because of that. We were just thrown together at a sleepover at like 11 and 12 years old. We didn't even know whether we'd like each other, and our parents whether we'd like each other. They just wanted an excuse for us all to be in the same place so they could have a drink together.
Yep.
Played out that same pattern for years and years together. And I don't think there's anything we don't know about each other. Except for Lisa doesn't always remember my birthday, and
I remember your birthday. It's the
11th. You know what? I was just, as you were saying that story, it just came over me. Who would have known that two little girls were going to randomly meet and change their family genetic history and stop alcoholism in its tracks right then? How mind-blowing is that? That gives me chills right now. That just blows me away.
I've never even thought about it like that. And that's just give me goose pimples, because we really are. Hey, Alex, we are doing that.
You are. Right now, it stops with you two.
Yeah,
in your generational line.
We do recognise it, but slightly differently, because we always say that our children won't follow the same cycle we have, because they've got good role models in their lives. And certainly our youngest ones, it's obvious in the way that we parent and in their feedback that's it. They see the difference between drunk mums and now sober mums, and they would choose sober just through example.
Absolutely, because what you've taught them in that time is going to now bleed into their lives, and then you've just changed. You two grew up in an atmosphere of pubs and bars and partying and drinking, and you went through and repeated that, and now your children get to grow up in an atmosphere of recovery and positivity and laughter and love, and now they will without a doubt repeat that. And so what just a beautiful thing a gift that recovery gives us is the ability to see things in that way and change generations. That's beautiful to me. As if you guys weren't already just awesome enough. Now we get this. So you guys have books, newsletter, Facebook support group, podcast, YouTube, Sober Saturdays. I mean, you ladies are showing up in the world in a mighty way. And I just have to say thank you. How do you manage to be moms and family and friends and do all of that? That's just so amazing. Tell me about the journey, the vision.
You know, for me, I think we're just so passionate about it that we can't not do it. You know, from as soon as when I stopped drinking and realised how flipping awesome it could be, how amazing I was feeling, how many good things there were about it. There's no way, being the type of person that I am and Alex is, that we couldn't share this with everybody. Like, everybody needs to know about it, right?
Yeah, I feel the same way. You got to get this. You got to get it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And I think for us as well, we realised that actually alcohol wasn't all that we'd been sold or told that it was over the years, and it was kind of all a bit of a lie. And we don't like being fed to, do we, Alex?
No, we definitely don't. And I think that it kind of happened in two stages. So Lisa got sober, and if you know Lisa like I know Lisa, she is the single most, and I'm going to call her strong-minded because I'm going to compliment her rather than say she's stubborn. But she's stubborn.
Well, you had to throw stubborn in there, don't you? I didn't notice, and everyone else will too.
She's one of the strongest minded people that I've ever known, and I say that because she's obviously because she's my best friend, but it's true. I've never known anybody like her, and when she puts her mind to something, she's doing it. But whatever happens, you're not going to stop her. So she phoned me up and she said, right, Alex, I've got an awful hangover. And just to put you in the picture, we would usually phone each other every weekend and say, oh my God, guess what I did last night? I'm being sick, I feel ill. Oh, I'm going to stop. And then the other one would say, no, you're fine. It's not as bad as what I did. So we kind of perpetuated this behaviour for years. But this one day she phones me up and she said, Alex, I'm giving up drinking. I swear, the reactions, there was like a mini meltdown occurred inside. First of all, I thought, oh my God, I've lost my drinking partner.
Yep.
Oh, it'll pass. It's bad. It's a phase. She don't mean it. And third, I thought, oh my God, it's Lisa. She definitely does mean it. She said, I'm doing 100 days. I'm going to do 100 days and just experiment with going sober. And I want to see how I feel. I just want to see if I feel better. And a year later, she hadn't put any pressure on me. She just kept saying every now and again, you're going to go sober. I know you're going to do this. You're going to go sober. And a year later, I bloody well went sober because there was no way that I was missing out on the fun that she was having.
Absolutely. That's amazing. I love that story. That is so amazing because it's not often that somebody, especially that, you love and you want to, get well and do it quick. It's not very often that you find somebody who's not judgmental and not real pushy about it. Because the smokers to give up the smoking and then everybody can't smoke and you got to quit smoking and they're on you. But that's really so kind and shows to, I guess, both of your transparency and your real love for each other. It's like she just knew that you were going to be okay. Like she just knew that you were that you were going to be okay and you were going to do that as well. And I think that is a brilliant, brilliant story. I love it. The relationship you have is so unique, and just what you all are doing with all of this stuff is such a blessing to the world and the recovery world and community, because I like that the mood is light, and I think that it's probably your natural personality to be light and funny and to not take anything too seriously. And not that addiction's not a serious disease, but goodness gracious, haven't we been carrying around such heavy weights, already? Let's throw some of that off and really live on the side of positive. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Yeah, I think that there's so much blame around any addiction. There's so much blame carried by the person, and shame, guilt, and remorse. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, addiction is a really serious topic, and recovery is a really serious topic. But you don't have to do it miserably. The ways that you can do this and do it happily, positively, and lightheartedly to actually make that whole journey much easier. And you don't have to feel ashamed, because Lisa and I wouldn't be here now had we not experienced what we experienced before. We would be now had we not tried 100 times to moderate or 100 times to quit. There's no failure when you relapse or when you have to try again. And we've never associated with that, and we don't associate with any of the kind of stigmas around that. We absolutely wholeheartedly believe this can be done by switching your mindset to being positive and fun and happy about it, and choose sober. Nobody's forcing anybody to go sober here. You choose sober. If you didn't choose sober, you would never enter into recovery.
Yes.
I agree.
So beautifully said. Beautifully said. I love that.
I just think
I really, really do. Because go ahead, Lisa.
I told you, I'm
your...
a butter inner.
You do it, because I want to hear from you, because that's just beautifully said. Beautifully said.
I know, now I've got to follow that. No, I agree with Alex. I think sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves to do things, and with recovery, I know how hard it can be, but for me, it's focusing on all the amazing benefits that it brings, because it does. And I just think it's so hard for people to keep going over and over all the bad stuff that they've done. And I know that, for some people that works because they don't want to do that again. But it doesn't mean that you can't have fun. It doesn't mean that you can't laugh. It doesn't mean that you can't be proud of yourself. Or, it's the best thing wholeheartedly going sober is that's ever happened to me. And everything good in my life I put down to sobriety. Like, honestly, I'm always saying that's since I've stopped drinking, that's because I'm sober. But it actually, I really believe that it is. And I think it's so important to concentrate and really focus on all the things that you have got every single day.
Yes. I say, if you want to change your life, if you want to change, the first thing you got to do is change on the inside of you before you can change the outside. And if you ever just want to get yourself there, start in gratitude. Real gratitude is what changed my life.
Gratitude, honestly.
Oh my God.
We speak about this a lot, don't we, Alex? And
we're very different, aren't we, like that? Because I'm learning still. I'm a full year behind you, so I just kind of wander around following you, saying what's
But gratitude is so important, and I genuinely believe, honestly, both of us have been through some real shit together, haven't we? Independently, and I just believe there is always something to be grateful for. Always, no matter how bad it gets, you can find one thing to be grateful for.
Yes, without a doubt. My wife and we're at two different recovery years as well, and it's the same dynamic. It's just what Alex was saying, is I'm a year behind you here. And that's, I do. My wife, she reminds me all the time, hey, wait, I'm a little bit behind you. And I'm like, well, it's good up here. It's really good. And the way to start getting it, is really just what you said, is gratitude. You get into gratitude.
And it doesn't have to be a million things, because I had the same things in my life when I got into recovery, the same people, I had things to be grateful for, but my perception did not allow me to see them. And it was hooking up with real mind, heart connected gratitude for even just one thing. When you begin to do that, it begins to broaden the things that you see in your life. It's a beautiful way to live. And what I really, really, really love and appreciate about you ladies as well, and the Sober Experiment, is that you also talk to a demographic of people getting sober that are not living an addiction story that is, the down and out. They are the everyday, moms in a different culture. And you also have something, called the 30-day Sober Experiment. And I really want you all to hear that. Talk to us about that, because I want to make sure that we cover all audiences, because like we talked about before, sober and recovery is the new epidemic. That's what we're working on making, so that people see it's more fun and more amazing to be on this side versus in the 90s and in the 80s, when we were driving people towards alcohol and drugs, that was the life you had to live. But a lot of people are living a secret life and don't really find the connection with some of the addiction and recovery resources. So please talk to us about that and that gray area, as Alex calls it. I like that.
I think the first thing is, when you look at me and Lisa, neither of us, like you said, kind of were the stereotypical alcoholic or addict. And for us, that just put off becoming sober. So inside, both of us knew there was a problem, as in we would drink for stress, we would drink to become socially confident, we would drink we would drink to dance, we would drink to grieve, we would drink for all these reasons, but neither of us associated with being alcoholic, and neither of wanted to associate with being alcoholic, because it's got this image behind it that means you are diseased, you are now this person that has to go to AA or to some sort of recovery centre. And that actually stopped us getting sober for a long time. We believed fully that we were normal drinkers, and society has this kind of, you're either an alcoholic or you are, but nobody's looking at that group in the middle, which we belong to. And, for the most part of the week, neither of us would drink. If we did, it'd be a glass of wine with a meal. But at weekends, we would drink completely our weekend away, from the second finishing work on a Friday, and it would last. The anxiety and the fear of all that drinking would last to midweek, and nobody's discussing that. Nobody's discussing what society calls normal drinkers. And we decided between ourselves that actually we don't believe there is any such thing as a normal drinker. It's just what society accepts as a normal drinker, and nobody's having these people to take a break and choose sober and just live positively. For years, we believed you had to be an alcoholic to then go sober, and that's not the case at all. You can choose sober. You can choose sober because of your cultural or religious beliefs. You can choose sober because you just don't want to wake up with a hangover. You can choose sober because you want the clarity that things. You choose sober because your best mate's doing it and you want a piece of it. There's no And we want to shout out to those people, and that's why we've done our 30-day experiment, which I'm hoping Lisa hates it when I do this, but I'm hoping Lisa's going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing in the workplaces as well, because this is kind of where we went from realizing this point.
Yes, definitely. I think we like to challenge people's beliefs, don't we, around alcohol? Like Alex said, you don't have to be or class yourself as an alcoholic to stop drinking. I said this earlier, but I used to feel sorry for alcoholics. I was like, oh my God, you poor thing. You can never, ever drink again and be like me, who's a normal drinker. Like, who did I think I was? You know, and especially when we had it, you know, in our family, we had friends that really, really struggled. So to actually get to a point in our life where we was like, oh, actually, alcohol is really not helping me. It's not doing me any favors, and it's becoming problematic, but we're too ashamed to say so because of what people think. And I think this is what we want to work on. You know, like I said, we want to challenge people's beliefs around alcohol. We're passionate about removing the stigma that is attached to sobriety and alcoholism. So with our 30-day experiment, what our main thing is to help people with their mindset, which is what we said before. And, you know, we want people to talk more openly and honestly about the fear of being labelled, or without the fear of being labelled or judged. And that's kind of what we work on. But the workplaces, so we go into workplaces now, and they are absolutely scared to death of us, aren't they, Alex? When they hear something called the sober experiment is coming in, and you know they must have their own picture of what these two women are going to walk in and look like.
Right.
And they're like, you're not going to stop us drinking, are you? You're not going to stop us drinking because I drink for this and I drink for that. And we go, no, are we heck? But really we're thinking, watch this space, because we definitely are.
And by the time we leave, every single time, 9 out of 10 of them are going, oh, we want to try your 30-day sober experiment. And it's
That's awesome.
you know, we're not preaching. We're not saying you must go sober. We're saying, oh yeah, since we got sober, our friendship has blossomed. We're better parents. We've done sober holiday. We look at our skin, look at our hair.
This is the thing, and people in the workplaces, what you hear of so much is that they're drinking because of the stressful job or because they've got anxiety. You know, they're self-medicating and they're not talking about it. They're not telling people, and it's so normalised in the workplace that, oh yeah, I'm going to go home and have a glass of wine. And we know it's not a glass usually. It's usually the bottle.
Right.
And I think so when we go in, and we know that even after just 30 days stopping drinking, that people start to notice a difference. They start to feel, even just after 30 days, a sense of achievement. And I think that's what, you know, when we help with the mindset and we kind of show them how they've been lied to, how they sold this drink. You know, it's everywhere. It's all over your Facebook. It's all over the adverts. The alcohol industry have it, you know, the government make an absolute flipping fortune from it. So we're being sold it all the time. And I think when people start to realise, oh, actually, it causes me more anxiety. It causes me more stress. That's why I'm waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, things like this. So we really help with the mindset.
It's like a little honey trap, in honesty, right? Because what we do, try it for 30 days, and then after 30 days we go another 30. And honestly, by the time if they've done 30 days and they're feeling differently, there's a high proportion stick at it and choose sober. And the more of these grey area drinkers choose sober, the more normal it becomes to not be a drinker. One of the things we say to people, well, there's two things we say to people that really kind of shock them. One is that alcohol was banned as an anaesthetic in the 1970s because it was too toxic, yet the government allowed you to pour it into your body. The other one is, have you ever seen a piss person advertising the drink that they're selling?
Oh.
Ever. No, you know why?
Well.
Because no advert wants to see a woman or a man hunched over the toilet, vomiting, punching in the face, waking up in the gutter, squatting for a wee in the street, fighting with their best friend, falling asleep mid-sentence, or repeating themselves. So no, the actual product can't even use its results to sell its own products. It can't.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine not one person in the room signing up after that, because that's like the honest truth. That is so true. And, you know, I've never, ever even thought of it that way. That is amazing.
Lisa's idea, that one.
I love it, but you're so right. You're so right. We have built a culture of self-medicators, and then we come out with, then people begin to die, and all of a sudden now we have these epidemics, and then we blame the addict or the alcoholic. We blame the one that lost control, and then want to punish the ones that lost control. But we paint a picture of normal over here. You're supposed to be like this, a normal drinker, a recreational user, and how dare you get out of control? Now you're just shameful. And so I can't tell you how much I appreciate what the message that you're bringing, how much I appreciate the way in which you're doing it, how much I appreciate that gray area of all the people that can now learn to live sober, because you are absolutely right beyond a shadow of a doubt. It is the mindset around all of it, that if you change your mindset, you'll change your life. And I've got but one question before we leave, and it might be kind of a deep one, but I want to know from each of you, what is the best gift that sobriety has given you?
Oh God, do you want to go first, Lisa, or do you want me to go first?
I don't mind, I can go. You know what? I could speak all day, forever and ever, about how many gifts sobriety has given me. So it's a really tough one to try and pick just one. But I am going to say it's given me my ability to be a good parent when I needed to be one. I've got teenage. My eldest is 21. I've got a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old. And two years ago, they were being a nightmare. They were going through a very, very tough time, and they were being, imagine teenagers bad and then triple it. Right? And I was burying my head in the sand by drinking every weekend, and by stopping drinking, it stopped me burying my head in the sand, and it helped me be a good parent. It helped me really, really get my shit together and get their shit together, and we're all in a very good place. So I think, sorry, that was very long and drawn out. It could, but yeah, beautiful. I think parenting for me, 100%.
Amazing. Alex, how about you?
Mine has to be the clarity and peace that getting sober has brought to me, because my inner chatter before was always either about I drink too much, or I'm not good enough at this, or I'm not good enough at, or regret and blame. I had quite a difficult childhood, and I held a lot of bitterness about my parents. They never harmed me, but I struggled to come to terms with that. And especially after my dad died, I never dealt with it. I just kind of drank it away. Not very long ago, a couple of years ago, I actually had a miscarriage. And again, I think that was my turning point. And it was the point at which Lisa, and she talks about being a good parent, but she also became a really good friend at that point, and a friend that she would not have been had she been drinking, even though was. And when I say she showed up, she showed up. She dragged me off the sofa, dragged me out for walks, and made me face my demons.
Beautiful.
And I know that's about her, but it's also about me, because what happened after that was I was able to take a big look inside and start to make peace with things that had haunted me for years. And that made me a stronger person. It made me a better friend. It made me a better wife. It made me a better parent. And all of that came about because of the clarity that getting sober brought.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Both of you, the way you answered that question, are two of things that are on when I was answering that question are the same things. It was the ability to be a parent, the clarity to be able to let go of the bitterness and things that I carried around from my past, and to be able to step into my truth. I had to heal to be able to step into my truth. So recovery has given so many gifts. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest gifts it has given me is the ability to meet people like you ladies that are doing beautiful, amazing things to change the world over back to that place where we can love our lives again and have fun in the world and be healthy and wealthy and wise and all of the things that we all are looking for, searching for in our lives. So please let everyone know where all we can find you ladies, where we can get any products, how we can sign up. And for the listeners, this will all be in the show notes as well. But again, I could listen to Alex and Lisa talk all day. So tell us everything. Leave nothing out.
Don't say that, because we will keep you all day.
I can stay here.
Go on,
So
Lisa, you're doing this.
We are on Instagram, Sober Experiment, Facebook also, Sober Experiment. We've got a podcast which you can find on Apple iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, all the podcasty places, as Sober Experiment. Twitter is Experiment Sober, and our website, which is www.soberexperiment.co.uk. But we're on Instagram a lot, aren't we, Alex? And the link is in our bio on there to everything else that we do as well.
Yeah,
I love your link tree.
Can I just add as well that there are two, there's the Sober Experiment and this Sober Experiment podcast. Look for the Alex and Lisa logo, because we won't want you to get mixed up and go to somebody else's.
Yeah, I kind of did. And for a second, I was like, wait a minute. I don't think this is the same.
This is a touchy subject.
Get
This
that great
one.
American lady on with them. I didn't think there were three.
No, there definitely isn't. But yeah, we are the Sober Experiment podcast, and our logo's got our Alex and Lisa on it. So
Thank you for clearing that up, because I got confused like that, and actually had forgotten that I got confused like that. So thank you for doing that. Ladies, it has been an honor and a pleasure, and I can't wait to get this episode mixed and out. I don't even want to wait till next week. Like, I want to put the message out there so quick, and I could do it right now and just let it be, but doggone it, we have to do things by certain rules, right? But I can't wait to do this, and I pray that you all I can have you back again. And I do Recovery Soul Food over on Patreon too, where I like to offer some different types of webinars and stuff. I'd love to get you ladies over there as well. And let's brighten up the recovery world, and let's brighten up the sober movement. You ladies are bright and shining lights. I really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. You've brightened my day up.
I've had mine too, Lorna. I've had a really lovely time. Thank you.
I have. It's been really,
that's great.
really lovely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you both. How awesome was that? Didn't I tell you were really going to enjoy this episode? Alex and Lisa are two of the most amazing human beings walking the face of the earth today, spreading their message and giving us their wisdom, their light, their information, inspiration, and motivation. So the best way to find Alex and Lisa and the Sober Experiment is at the Sober Experiment on Instagram. And there you will find, in their profile, you will find their link tree that takes you to all of the wonderful and amazing things they are doing in this recovery world today. I have been just humbled and honored to get to spend time with these ladies, to get to know the Sober Experiment, and as always, to get to spend time with you, my amazing, beautiful audience. Listen, the Recovery Soul Food podcast is so close to my heart. Podcasting in general is just an amazing, amazing resource. And, it is truly a gift to be able to talk to the brightest minds in the recovery movement today, to really get to gain thought-provoking information and just to expand our recovery horizons. And just as Jen Elizabeth did last week, the Sober Experiment showed up this week and helped us do just that. So stay tuned, because episode 3 is going to be just as amazing, as we are going to be talking to the infamous Amy Guerrero of Thrive in Recovery with Amy, where we're going to talk to her about sober relationships, something that many of us really, really, really could use the advice on. And so Amy is an amazing, amazing conscious recovery coach. You're not going to want to miss that. So I thank you so much for spending this time with me, Alex and Lisa of the Sober Experiment. Make sure that when you are looking for the Sober Experiment that you see Alex and Lisa's logo, as I think there is another one out there, but it's not like these two. So make sure that you find Alex and Lisa. And listen, the last thing is, podcasting is such an amazing platform, but it does cost money to be up and running for equipment and monthly fees of things. So consider becoming a sponsor of the Recovery Soul Food Podcast. There are many different packages from 99 cents all the way up to $9.99 a month. So just help us can keep bringing you amazing content and introducing you to the most amazing people on the planet right now. All right, do me this one favor and remember that you are valuable, you are amazing, and that you are uniquely designed for such a time as this on earth right now. I'm Lona L.C. Curry, and this is the Recovery Soul Food Podcast, and we love you and believe in you. Until next time.
So wasn't that awesome? That was really, 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 really a lovely thing for me to get to do. It was such an honor to get to spend time with those ladies. And it's just something different to sprinkle into our recovery gumbo, so to speak. And if you're not from the South, well, a gumbo is just about everything that you can think of to put in, and it's delicious. So, I appreciate you guys being here with me and becoming a supporter of the podcast. You just go over there and like it, favorite, whatever platform you listen to it on, share it out. I mean, it is really, really, really a blessing to my heart. Since my recovery began in podcasting, podcasting has always been my vision. How I got here to this live stream and all that stuff, I'll never know. That's divine. But podcasting was the original vision. But what I really, really just loved and adored about doing this interview is, again, just that different perspective. And I want to leave you with that very same question that I asked Alex and Lisa. What are the number one gifts that recovery has given you, has allowed you to experience? Because like I said, being able to show up for my family in a way that has been not perfect by any means, but it has allowed me to show up and to get to experience my wife and my son and our family and, my mom and my friends, just to be able to experience my friendships and allowing them to grow deeper with clarity. And the healing process we've all been through has been a beautiful gift. And clarity goes along with that. Gratitude goes along with that. And I'll tell you, if you're struggling today with any place, whether it's wanting to use or drink again, or just feeling stuck in your recovery, I'll tell you, if you'll get somewhere and get still, and you will really truly connect with just one thing in your life that brings you true heartfelt gratitude, you will immediately begin to see that the light brighten up in your life. And you may have to do it 1,000 times a day, but wouldn't you rather spend 1,000 moments of your day in true gratitude and joy than in the dumps and in the gutter and barely drudging through? I mean, there's so many cognitive behavioral things that we can begin to do to take the control of our own recovery and not just spend it barely holding on or white knuckling, at the door not to go out and use. There are many things that we can get out in front of and begin to shift our perspective on life. And there was a lot that we talked about in this episode that I think is just a beautiful starting place for anyone. You guys know that I celebrate a recovery date, not a clean and sober date, but a recovery date, because recovery to me is my healing process. And me trying to be clean and sober, it never really worked. Just trying to abstain from those coping skills without putting new coping skills in the mix didn't ever last for me. And the cycle is that we try to get clean and sober and we don't clean up any of the other mess. And then we wonder why we can't do it. And then we get caught in the cycle of beating ourselves up and being guilty and feeling guilty and all of those things. And it keeps us going for a lot longer than, necessary. And many times a lot of people don't come back from that. Many of us have known people that have lost their lives to this very same disease. And so it's not guaranteed. And so I urge anyone tonight that might be thinking about throwing in the towel and going back out and using, stop yourself in the moment. And instead of just trying to do without that one thing, replace it with that gratitude process. Replace it with how important you are. Replace it that even though you can't see your bigger picture right now, that there are people around you that absolutely see your bigger picture. And when they tell you you're important, like me and Recovery Soul Food, when they tell you how important and valuable you are, then by all means, just believe them. Believe someone else until you can believe how special you are for yourself. Yet just because you're in that one small place of struggle doesn't mean that there's not a whole different world going on around you that you are called to be in right now with the exact path that you have traveled. Not anything different, not anything you should have done, but I mean the exact path that you're on. So learn to trust your path, give yourself a break, treat yourself with kindness and love. Just treat yourself as if how you would treat a friend if they came to you with the same things. And there are no buts. It just is. So, guys, thank you for joining me. Remember to love yourself, love each other. Diversity is necessary in this community for all of us to grow. We would be a bunch of boring saps if we were all exactly the same. And know that no matter what is going on in this world, we have the choice and we don't have to use and abuse ourselves today. You are valuable. You are worth it. And I can't wait to see you again on Friday morning at 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on LC Recovery Motivation. Until then, know that I love you and we're here for you. And you can do anything you put your mind to. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. Guaranteed. Thank you all for being here. I love you. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.